Manila, Philippines, July 2026. The city is buzzing. The streets are alive. And at the Bank of the Philippine Islands headquarters, something extraordinary is happening. It started with a quiet number that appeared on the WTA website at midnight. No fanfare, no announcement, just a ranking update that would send shockwaves through an entire nation of 110 million people. Alexandra Eala had done it again. 4 spots climbed. A career-high world number 28. The highest WTA singles ranking ever achieved by a Filipina. A position that would see her seated at the US Open. The first Filipino singles player to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam. A 21-year-old from Quezon City who had just shattered every record in Philippine tennis history. But the story doesn't end there. Because when the Bank of the Philippine Islands, the nation's oldest and largest bank, decided to celebrate her historic achievement, the tennis world took notice. The celebration made headlines. The recognition was profound. And when Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1, reportedly reacted, the tennis world exploded. The Belarusian powerhouse. The woman who has dominated women's tennis with 8,550 ranking points. The multiple Grand Slam champion. The player who has spent years fighting to reach the summit of this sport. She had something to say about the Filipina phenomenon. And now the tennis world is divided. The fans are furious. The analysts are scrambling. The controversy is spreading like wildfire across social media. Because this isn't just about tennis anymore. This isn't just about rankings or sponsorships or corporate celebrations. This is about a young woman from a developing tennis nation who has become perhaps the most popular player on the tour without yet winning a major title. This is about a nation of 110 million people finally having a champion to call their own. This is about a world number 1 who may be feeling the heat of a rising star. This is the story of how a corporate celebration triggered a tennis war. And the entire world is watching. Welcome to RallyVerse. Let's rewind to July 13th, 2026. The WTA rankings updated at midnight, Manila time. And when the numbers appeared on the screen, the Philippines stopped. Alexandra Eala had climbed 4 spots from number 32 to a career-high world number 28. With 1,666 ranking points, she had surpassed her previous best of number 29, set just 4 months earlier at the Miami Open. She was now tied with number 27 Anastasia Potapova in total points, sitting just behind due to inferior tiebreak criteria. The numbers told a story of consistency, of perseverance, of a young woman who had defied every expectation. Her historic Wimbledon run had gained her 240 ranking points, a net gain of 230. She had become the first Filipino singles player, male or female, to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam. She had dethroned defending champion Iga Swiatek on center court in a match that will be talked about for generations. She had saved 8 of 11 break points and hit 24 winners to 21 unforced errors against the 6-time major champion. She had committed only 21 unforced errors while Swiatek tallied 44. She had made the defending champion look ordinary. But here's what made this milestone truly remarkable. Just over a year ago, Eala was ranked number 140 in the world. She was a teenager with a dream, a wildcard entry at the Miami Open who stunned the world by defeating Swiatek in the quarterfinals. She was an unknown, a curiosity, a feel-good story that nobody expected to last. Now she was world number 28. Now she was a global phenomenon. Now she was the biggest draw in women's tennis. And the Philippines was celebrating. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hosted Eala at Malacanang Palace, conferring a presidential citation on her. He called himself a real fan and said she represents the best of Filipinos. He spoke about how the entire nation of 110 million people had rallied behind her. He compared her to Manny Pacquiao, saying that Filipinos seem to stop whatever they're doing whenever Eala plays. But the celebrations didn't stop at the palace. The Bank of the Philippine Islands, BPI, wanted to honor their ambassador. And that's when the story took an unexpected turn. To understand why BPI's celebration of Eala is so significant, you have to understand the depth of her relationship with the bank. Eala has been BPI's ambassador since 2022. But this isn't just a sponsorship deal. This is personal. Her parents met while working at the bank 3 decades ago. Her tita, Gina Eala, is BPI's HR head. When Eala returned home to the Philippines after her historic Wimbledon run, She made a sentimental stop at BPI. She wasn't just an endorser visiting her sponsors. She was family. BPI executives and directors, led by Chair Jaime Augusto Zobel do Ayala and President TG Limcayaco, celebrated her achievements and reaffirmed their support for her Grand Slam dreams. They spoke about how proud they are to be associated with a player who embodies the values of perseverance, discipline, and excellence. Alex's story is not just one of success on the tennis court, said BPI Chief Customer and Marketing Officer Kathy Santamaria, but a testament to perseverance, discipline, and the power of a strong support system. For Eala, the recognition was deeply moving. "I feel very seen," she said at Malacanang Palace. "I feel like all the hard work that I've done is seen. All the hours that aren't on TV are seen and validated and appreciated." The words resonated with millions of Filipinos who have followed her journey from the cracked courts of Quezon City to the pristine lawns of Wimbledon. The BPI celebration wasn't just about a ranking. It was about a young woman who had defied every expectation. A young woman who had climbed from obscurity to the brink of Wimbledon seeding. A young woman who had become a symbol of hope for an entire nation. But the celebration would soon draw attention from an unexpected quarter. Because when the world number one heard about Eala's latest achievement, she reportedly had something to say. And the tennis world has been divided ever since. Was Sabalenka jealous? Was she defending her throne? Was she simply stating the truth? The questions keep coming, but the answers remain elusive. Aryna Sabalenka has dominated women's tennis for years. With 8,550 ranking points, she sits comfortably at the top of the WTA rankings, ahead of Elena Rybakina's 8,143 points. She has won multiple Grand Slams. She has proven herself time and time again on the biggest stages. She has fought through injuries, through controversies, through the weight of representing a nation that has been ostracized by the international community. She has earned every single accolade that has come her way. But there's something about Alex Eala that has caught her attention. Sabalenka has previously spoken about Eala in glowing terms. "Oh my God, what a player, what an incredible young girl and future superstar," she said. She has called Eala the WTA Tour's next superstar. But that was before Eala became the biggest story in tennis. That was before former pros started comparing Eala to Sabalenka herself. Steve Johnson, on the Nothing Major podcast, called Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis right now. Bigger than Coco Gauff, bigger than Aryna Sabalenka. Sam Querrey asked, "Is she the biggest draw in women's tennis right now in the world?" Johnson replied, "Yes." Querrey added, "Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?" Johnson again replied, "Yes." Dude, it's crazy. The comments sent shockwaves through the tennis world. How could a 21-year-old from the Philippines, who has yet to win a WTA title, be considered a bigger star than the world number one? But the numbers don't lie. Eala's appearances have helped boost attendance figures in Melbourne and Abu Dhabi. In Melbourne, a surge of Filipino fans toward Court 6 created a bottleneck that stretched too far, leaving many supporters stuck outside. Whatever tournament she's in, the Filipino community from wherever they are in that part of the world turns out to see her. Former U.S. Open finalist Greg Rusedski compared Eala to Manny Pacquiao. "Everybody turns on the TV to watch her," he said. "The whole nation comes to a standstill. Wherever she is in the world, everybody wants to see her. She's the biggest star on the WTA Tour." Sabalenka, who has spent years building her legacy, now finds herself in the shadow of a player who hasn't even won a major title. And that's where the tension lies. The moment the reports surfaced, the tennis world exploded. Fans took to social media to defend Eala. They pointed to her victories over Swiatek, Rybakina, and Svitolina. They pointed to her ranking of world number 28. They pointed to the fact that she is the biggest crowd puller in women's tennis. They argued that the hype is justified, that Eala has earned every bit of attention she's received. They shared clips of her victories, her speeches, her moments of triumph. They called her an inspiration, a role model, a hero. Others sided with Sabalenka. They argued that Eala has yet to win a WTA title. They argued that her results have been inconsistent. They argued that the hype is premature, that Eala needs to prove herself over a longer period before she can be considered among the elite. They pointed to her early exits in some tournaments and her struggles against certain opponents. They argued that Sabalenka's skepticism is justified, that she has a right to question whether Eala's success is sustainable. The former players weighed in as well. Ruzetsky praised Eala's mentality. Between the ears, never say die. She always gets stuck in. She's grinding. She's fighting. But he also noted that Eala has plateaued after her breakthrough, pointing to inconsistent results. Johnson and Querrey, on the other hand, were unequivocal in their support. It's insane, like it's massive. The crowds she's getting, like all over the world, are insane, Johnson said. The controversy has also touched on deeper issues. Some have pointed to the geopolitical implications of Eala's rise. In a WTA dominated by established names, the appearance of a player from the Philippines could reconfigure the audience map and open a new era of Asian influence. Eala's popularity is seen by some as a symbol of the rise of the global South, a challenge to the traditional powers that have long dominated the sport. Sabalenka herself has faced scrutiny over her own position. The Belarusian has often been asked to clarify her stance on geopolitical issues. But the controversy surrounding her reaction to Eala has added another layer of complexity to her public image. The tennis world is divided. The fans are passionate. And at the center of it all stands Alex Eala, a young woman who has done nothing but play tennis and inspire a nation. So where does this leave us? Alex Eala has reached world number 28. She is the highest-ranked Filipina in tennis history. She has beaten Grand Slam champions. She has reached the second week of a Grand Slam. She has become a national hero and a global sensation. But she is just getting started. The question that everyone is asking is, what happens next? Eala is currently in Manila for a brief break, attending media and fan events. But after that, she turns her attention to the North American hardcourt swing. She is expected to compete in the Mubadala DC Open, a WTA 500 tournament in the United States, and the WTA 1000 National Bank Open in Canada. And then comes the year's final Grand Slam, the US Open, where her world number 28 ranking would see her seated. But there's another question that everyone is asking. When will Eala finally face Sabalenka? The two have never played each other in a competitive match. Eala has previously expressed admiration for Sabalenka's game, naming her serve as the shot she would steal from any player in tennis. But admiration and competition are two very different things. When they finally step onto the same court, the stakes will be enormous. For Eala, it's a chance to prove that the hype is real, a chance to show the world that she belongs among the elite, a chance to silence the doubters once and for all. For Sabalenka, it's a chance to defend her throne, a chance to remind everyone why she is the world number one, a chance to show that the hype surrounding Eala is just that, hype. The tennis world is waiting. The fans are waiting. And the rivalry that everyone has been waiting for is finally taking shape. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to world number 28. From being overlooked for tournaments to being called the biggest draw in women's tennis. From being told she couldn't do it to standing on the brink of a showdown with the world number one. Alex Eala has defied every expectation. And she's just getting started. Laban Lang. Always. And remember, on RallyVerse, we bring you the stories that define the sport, the drama, the rivalries, the moments that change everything. Stay tuned for more.